Yeah, a very big welcome to you, my dear Cancer, and always a big welcome to all the other signs that felt like the constellation today has a meaning to them and as such then an inspiration or a message. The Sun in Gemini is giving the waxing moon, which is in your sign, my dear Cancer, just a sliver of light. Gemini is the lover's energy, and here I see first and foremost a love for oneself, a triangle that's pointing upwards, and the mountain that looks like a triangle. And the energy of Gemini is mutable, meaning it can adapt. It's the end of spring. And so you follow and you are cardinal and you pronouncing now summer begins. Also in between these two is the summer solstice, the 21st of June, the longest day, the day where the sun is really giving us a feeling of an outdoor. We can be naked, it's warm, it's we're going out in nature, we looking for the shades, we're looking for the coolness, not in the city where the heat sometimes gets quite sticky and we go out and we want to leave town and go into nature. So the message through this combination will then highlight what's going on here with the reading. I'm doing these readings because I'm learning the tarot, and I am producing my own tarot deck combined with yoga poses. So for me, this is a perfect medium to learn and to then put it out there into the world and let it be, right? And whoever is interested, and that's it. I'm not looking for clicks or any of that kind of stuff. So, of course, then just to let you know, I do still make mistakes. So sometimes I cut, sometimes, I'm learning, I'm studying. So that's good. The yoga cards that I did for Gemini, for the lovers, is King Pigeon, a love that begins within us, a love that reaches back into the subconscious, the same way the conscious, the male, the sun, or the light is looking into the subconscious, into the female, into the dark, and she's looking up to the angel, and the angel is looking respectively down to both of them. Here, by reaching back with the arms and the hands, which is the body part for Gemini, is speaking about reaching into the subconscious, and while we're reaching in the subconscious, learning everything, where we come from, what all this is about, because the subconscious is almost like that part that governs everything, almost in a subconscious way. That's why it's called subconscious, right? And that one is huge, and that one we really should look into. While we're doing that, we open the hips, we open the heart, the chest, and in that looking back or in that reaching back, we see the light, we see the angel, we see an energy coming down, uniting male and female and letting things grow in a very organic, in a very natural, cyclical way. For you, my dear Cancer, here the chariot that is leaving the town, the chariot is now you yourself are able to take in the position of the horse, of that sphinx that is pulling the chariot, but there is no connection to the chariot. There are no reins, right? There's no guiding. The only way to guide is by using your third eye, by using your intuition, And that's what's happening when they look at each other, the dark and the light, and the standing here in front of Manhattan, a big city, and the river, and then the forest. We get out, and the Sphinx I created face to face like a couple, and in there comes the Holy Grail with the Cancer coming out, and the symbol here that is here by Rider-Waite, the mixing of Yoni and Lingam. Then, of course, the name of this card is Chet. Chet is a fence. Back then, we had to fence in our properties to protect ourselves. And of course, here we can see the ribs are protecting the lungs, protecting the heart, which is underneath. And the heart is on the left side, right? So there's more space than here. And the left side is the intuition, is the feminine, and here on the right side is the masculine. So I kind of switched that. And the power behind this card is that we reach into a success which doesn't last long, but nevertheless has a great force, has the number 7, and the number 7 is the crown chakra. Or, of course, on the Tree of Life, it's hood, it's a communication, it's a spiritual communication that's coming down. Your court card is the Queen of Cups. The dates for her are June 10th to July 12th. So if your birthday is before or after, you may still have this as a major arcana, but maybe you have a different court card, so you can look in the description below. I have listed all the cards there. Now I place her in the central line, in the present line. I have altogether 17 oracle and tarot decks. I go as far back as the 15th century with the Visconti Sforza deck. This in itself is a love story, like the lovers, because the family of Visconti and Sforza married their children. Back then that was a contract. Back then that was a contract for success. And all the tarot cards are depicting the couple. Or the female is her, is the Visconti's daughter, and all the male is the Sforza, the son. And so it's showing us, or it's giving us an insight into the success or the richness of a family, of an Italian family. And so I have to lay them down in 3 rows. So it looks like, yes, I have the past, the present, and the future, but nevertheless, for me, they're all now. I mean, they're all now, but of course we can see them as these 3 stages. I'm taking a picture. It's at the end of the video, so you can have a look yourself and kind of understand a little bit yourself what is going on here. Now I have English, German, and French cards. It's because I'm speaking all 3 languages, and yeah, it's the picture that is important. So let's begin with the first card that is coming up from the Visconti Tarot, are the 9 of Swords. Now the 9 of Swords is Mars in Gemini, and Mars in Gemini is the force, the power to realize that you are fighting within yourself with your mind. You're fighting about a nightmare that is pushing you to stay awake and not be able to sleep. And it's difficult to overcome, the force or the power that sometimes a thought can have, even though you don't see it, but it's there and it keeps you awake. And the only way to control that is by using the sword that's in the center and that's pointing upwards and speaking about, focus all your energy into one thought, and a thought that is reaching up to a higher consciousness, that is reaching up to the angel, to the light, not into the duality, not into this crossing of male and female, this attacking, this speaking, this worrying. This is difficult. But if you look, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little squares that get created through the crossing of these four swords. And you see that that is reaching back to the lovers, and the lovers as these little spaces or gaps that are created here are giving you an understanding. If I focus on a higher consciousness, if I focus on what Gemini is actually telling me, then I can maybe successfully go out and liberate myself. Now here comes Oswald Worth, which was of the part of the Rose Cross Order. And Oswald Worth has the old way of the strength number, the number 8, because usually the 8 in the Rider-Waite is the strength, the Leo card, and of course usually this is the card number 11 because of the succession of the zodiac signs. So we have Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Leo, then Virgo, right? Leo usually is the card number 8 and not Libra. So for me, this doesn't work, but I work with it because it's coming up through Oswald Worth and I'm learning both sides. But for me, as a Virgo, I like to see the succession of the zodiac signs because they are following each other. So I would like him also change the position. So justice is coming, and of course the understanding that this one sword that she's holding in her right hand, in her logical hand, is the sword that's pointing up, because her sword is pointing up as well into this pillar. Now the other pillar is here, the two pillars, the two humans. And of course, these two pillars, the black and the white, it's always the same. It's the duality that give us the possibility to go into the center, that give us the possibility to go up to the mountain and see from up there the things from a completely different perspective. And so her intuition, her intuitive side is holding this scale. And the scale is giving her the feeling from the heart, the intuition that's saying, well, I need to balance myself out. And of course then to the 8, it's that infinite loop. But the 11 for justice is also a portal of significance that then gives the power to la justice, right? These are French cards. So Oswald Worth, his cards were used around 1887. Then the Hermetic Tarot, the Order of the Golden Dawn, used these cards, and then out of that order comes Arthur Waite and Aleister Crowley. And Aleister Crowley and Arthur Waite, both men, Aleister Crowley and Arthur Waite, were both very powerful men and learned in this order, which was formed 1888, 3 times the 8, the power chakra, to see the earth star above you, to find a power within that number. And so they of course used 1888 as the date to create the order of the Golden Dawn. Here comes Aries, and Aries is Mars, and so the connection to this card, Mars in Gemini, is giving an understanding that you got to learn something quite profound here. Because Aries through Mars is quite impulsive, is quite strong, and so I can see that you got to learn something quite profound. You got to learn to discern yourself a little bit with that. Mentally you cannot stay stuck in this kind of energy. This is mental as well. And now comes fire, is giving even more energy to this mental business. Now, Aleister Crowley said, the justice, nature is not just, nature is precise. And in that preciseness, we need to look at how the moon, the waning and the waxing moon is influencing us when it's in a certain sign. And so I'm doing the reading on a day where the moon is in your sign. I'm not doing it just any day. So I'm following quite a very regular plan, because I'm looking always when is the moon in the sign. That's when I do the reading, so I get the energy. So Aries, and as you can see, these cards are filled with symbolisms, with meaning, and that's why I'm including them, because I want to learn. I want to learn everything I can so I can create further and deeper my own cards. Now comes Rider-Waite. These cards I didn't pick, because I picked them since they are the most common known cards. I picked them as a demonstration, where's the sun and where's the moon. And so now comes Gemini reversed. So yes, I do think that there is something going on. I do think that you need to put yourself so strongly together that you here are challenged through a Libra, because it's justice, it's not Leo, it's just a number. You are challenged through a Libra, or also through an Aries or a Gemini. You are challenged because Mars in Gemini, you're challenged. I don't think you're challenged through a Libra, to tell you the truth. I think you're challenged through an Aries or a Gemini. And because Gemini is facing upside down, I think the combination is that these two are giving each other the fire and the air, right? The air energy. I mean, it's like there is something that's not working. And we're going to look further into what's going on with these when a card is reversed. Usually it says, well, there is missing some self-love, because for me this is not a lover. But of course there are two people here, so it could be a relationship. But first and foremost, you got to stay strong with your own love. You got to go deeper into the Nine, into the Hermit. You got to look deeper. You got to understand what these cards are speaking to you, what really is going on. And you got to see that you got to take all the power to love yourself, because of course there is the Emperor. There is this empirical way of doing things, someone that's very strong, and here it's reversing the love. It's reversing your personal self-love. Then Aleister Crowley. Now this is 1920 and this is 1969, comes the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is a Libra. So the sword that is here in the right hand is still in her right hand, but she's holding in her left hand a head. She is the queen that cuts off the ego. She is the queen, she's a Libra. She is the one that's saying, okay, something needs to be cut. And of course it looks like a male head, and it looks like she is cutting off the head of the Aries, because he has a beard, and also here he has a beard. So I don't think she's cutting off the head of Gemini. Doesn't look like. So here is the answer to what you can do to release this nightmare. There's a nightmare. There is something speaking to you that's saying you got really to awaken to what your mind is capable of doing. And of course she is mentally cutting off people's head. She is saying enough with the mind. She's taking action, and she's literally like taking the head of the emperor. Hermann Handel, also a very important personality. 1985, the Three of Cups is coming up. And the Three of Cups speaks about, in connection now with the Queen of Swords, speaks about understanding the central theme. The right and the left cup is usually the Two of Cups, which is then giving us a story again of the lovers. But the Three of Cups then speaks about an abundance, the Mercury in Cancer, so it's connected to you, and that things are overflowing. Nevertheless, it can also be a sign that you have to be careful that whatever you do here, whatever you cutting off, can also bring then the tipping point, because they say that this one drop that's coming down, there is a little bit of red inside, just a little bit. It's barely visible, but this one drop, right, this one head that she cut off, it's like there is something. Yes, there is a relationship. Yes, there is a triangle that's pointing upwards again, the same way the triangle is pointing upwards there. And of course, which triangle is pointing upwards is the fire. The water is pointing down. And so you got to realize that this overflow of emotions can also be turning into the wrong way. And this is an inner understanding, because it's in a cave, and you got to learn to realize that everything within you is bringing you again and again into your center, understanding that this one can shift something within you. It can push things. This one, there's something agitating you. There's something pushing you. There's something, making you realize that something is shifting. Now you get then out of the medicine woman, Saturn in Pisces, you get the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups usually speaks about moving on, speaks about that one cup that is maybe a little too much here. So it could also be a three relationship. It could be a relationship with a Libra, with the Aries, and with the Gemini. There's three people. There's three people that are challenging you right now, my dear Cancer. And that is maybe the connection to the Three of Cups here. And then what's speaking here is that you are moving forward, you are going on a journey, and you saying, okay, the next step is to search for the love that is feeding this couple by a spirit, by a higher consciousness, by the sword that is pointing upwards, so that all these troubles are shifting by the central understanding of this person having the sword and the balance, by a clear mental point that's saying, okay, you gotta shift, and by also allowing maybe here the higher consciousness to guide you and giving you then through the Queen, cutting the ego, letting go of the ego, letting go of this third person here, and reaching into a voyage of love, the great voyage of finding love. Then comes you, the Queen of Cups. You sitting here at the shore, you're the healer, because all the queens have water element in them. And of course you water and water, twice water. You have the Holy Grail, you have two angels watching the Holy Grail, and you're sitting here at shore and you're looking at this Grail. And the first card that comes up here, I have listed all of them down below as well, which cards I'm using. Here comes the Mystic Moment Oracle, the number 6. Listen carefully to these two sides, to male and female, to the conscious that's looking at the subconscious, and up is the higher conscious. Listen and become yourself, immersed in the earth, in the water, through the Holy Grail. You yourself start listening to the water, which feeds everything. So you go deep within, and you getting then again the Queen of Swords coming twice. So there is a Libra for sure. So maybe here Mercury in Cancer. Mercury is the communication. Libra is about speaking. So there is a communication that someone is too much here. There's something that's not flowing. There's something that's reverse. There's something that's making you stay awake at night and you cannot sleep. You got to listen now to the Queen of Air. You got to liberate yourself. You got to realize that what you're cutting off is not the head of someone else, is that you start merging your head deep down into the earth. You're letting go of the ego, the things that knows everything, and you become more humble, and you want to become yourself immersed in the water. And then you can liberate yourself completely. Then you can realize that you liberate yourself by letting go of your own ego, of your own doing that's pushing you to the edge. Alberto Villoldo comes and speaks about the Earth Keeper. And it's really beautiful because it works with this card. And this is the card number 18, which then becomes a 9. So I'm going to put this down. But remember this. She's emerged in the earth and the Earth Keeper is coming. So the 9 is speaking here, a 9-9 portal to the mind that thinks, that knows everything, to the mind that thinks the ego has the right to judge, has the right to say this is good and this is bad. And I think this is clearly speaking to you to awaken, to bring those wings that are here now in your head into a form of, yes, I am reaching back into the subconscious. I'm using the wings of my arms, right? The sun that is highlighting that. At the same time, something is also coming down. The wings are coming down. They're below. They're not above. They're now on the ground. So you yourself becoming the winged personality. You don't have wings in your head anymore. Now you have wings in your arms. And it's your arms that bring you forward, and it's your hands that holding you here in this position of thinking and wondering maybe also what's going on here, because you have the 6 squares right in here, and this is the card number 6, right? And of course the 6-6 portal, so we have a 6-6-6 portal, 3 times the 6, 3 times the 6 is power to see within what you need to let go, what you need to cut. You need to cut the mind, you need to cut this thinking, this excessive thinking, and you need to become yourself merged with the earth and fly forward into the animal spirit, which is now the frog. And the frog is a water animal. As you can see, the triangle that's pointing down. Now comes the healing, a healing through the earth, a healing through listening, and listening to what you need, listening to what you feel, and allow those feelings to guide you and to reach forward into this frog, which grows up most of his life in water. And thus this is the ultimate healing card. This is go into the water, emerge into the water, and allow yourself to heal from the 4 of Cups, because the 3 of Cups goes then into the 4 of Cups. A 4 of Cups sometimes speaks about then moon in Cancer. So the 3 of Cups then is Mercury in Cancer, and the 4 of Cups is moon in Cancer. So you go from 3 through the frog into the healing into 4. Nevertheless, moon in Cancer, you have to be careful that you are not getting jaded. You see these 3, for some reason you accepting these 3 cups the way they are. Now you get the frog and you get the healing done, and you think everything is okay. No, it's not. You got to really go deep and realize that this cup, when it's handed down to you, it's something magical, it's something spiritual. As you can see, the color is shifting here. Here's the world, here is this 3-dimensional world, and now you reaching into the 4th dimension. And it's again, it's your right hand that's touching the cup. And so here one arm is coming down. It's the same kind of like, I'm here, what I'm gonna do, where am I gonna go, what is this all about? And you realize something is pushing you to go forward and to realize that something is speaking to you profoundly. Now into the future comes the Creativity Oracle, and here we get this beautiful card. And of course it's always that angel, it's always that here you are yourself framed by these 2 swans. Very beautiful, very sweet card. And you are looking down. You see this here? There is this picture, or you're seeing yourself in the reflection of the water. And the swans, again, the heart, the self-love that is coming through the angel. It's like focusing on the center, focusing on that one thought, on that one energy, knowing that you want to cut the ego and really come back into the two. But out of the two, you want to emerge. You want to come out and liberate yourself. Like the same way here, these three, you have the two cups, you have the two swans, and then you have the cup here. See that? And this card is saying actualization. You will achieve your full potential by virtue of your creativity and your honest pursuit of truth. Number 64, which then becomes a 10. And the 10 is not here, but the 10 here seems almost like this is a liberation from 9 into 10. A deep liberation of a mental mind, because you get the 9 again. The 9 of Swords, again, Mars in Gemini. Something is creating here. Yes, you were liberated and still you feel like you're being watched. You don't feel comfortable. All the eyes are upon you. You feel like in the nightmare, you feel like people are staring at you. There is something that is speaking very profoundly to you in this actualization. So be careful, observe, and go into the number 5 or the 14, the 1 and the 4. Now, of course, here is a 4-4 portal. And a 4-4 portal is speaking 2 times about the heart, creativity and sexuality that wants to open the heart, but this is very intense energy, these two together. So there is Aries, right? And there is Moon in your sign. So there is a conflict. There is something that's really pushing you to the brink and making you cry, right? And you gotta check this. You gotta really check this. You gotta check, why is Mars in Gemini pushing you? Why is Mars, which is connected with the Emperor, pushing on you? Why is Gemini reversed? Is that speaking about this, right? Is that speaking about, yes, because the card comes up reversed, because the sun is giving you just a little bit, you having a difficult time to really see at night. That's where we have barely any light. So the nightmare is coming and you're crying and the butterflies are flying off. And then you are realizing that everything is shifting. Now, again comes from another deck, the 4 of emotions. Completely different. Here you sit within the deck. Again, it's here the same way that I created the cup between the two faces. So there is a story, there is a love story, there is a love story that is being interrupted, there is a love story that has one person too much and there is another person. So it's really, here you are sitting in the cup, you have everything, and you're looking at these 3 and you diving deep down into yearning for a love that is fulfilling you. But in the end, it's like you gotta fulfill yourself. You gotta understand, you create whatever success you're creating, whatever you go forward, you gotta arrive in your own cup, right? This cup that is handed down from a higher consciousness, from a different dimension, now you are in it. And it's actually kind of speaking about an opposite here. You looking at the 3 of Cups and you're looking into this world and you're little so then you get this cup handed and now you are immersed in that cup and now you finally seeing these 3 cups. So it's actually quite a reversal happening here, as you can see. And then the last one is number 18, the eyes of the eagle rising above the fray. And so here comes another 9. So you have a 9 portal. 9. 9, 9, 9, 9. 4 times 9. different nines. Twice you got the Nine of Swords, which is Mars in Gemini, speaking that the more you take care of yourself, of your own wings, the more you take care that you want to fly, that you want to go out there, that you want to become this eagle. I'm just gonna put these two down because you know they exist. The more you realize that you need to open not just your mind, but you need also to open up your wings now. You need to fly. You need to fly and move emotionally forward and realize that the message here is to find love, true love that begins within you. And here you have now the eagle, and you have that glass that makes his eyes even more see things. You can see now, like I spoke from here, the mountain. When we're up on the mountain, we become like the eagle, and we can see what is happening. We can see that something in your life is not working, and that you need to spread your wings, and you need to look closer and deeper into what is really going on, what is happening, what is pushing you to this situation. And don't take it lightly, right? Just because the cards are here the way they look, we think, oh, how beautiful. No, these cards have a tremendous power. And of course, I mean, these men, they wouldn't just paint something to have fun with it. These are mystical signs and symbols that go deep in our subconscious and can help us to transform. It can help us to understand what it means to be in a true path. That means to be also like an emperor that rules people without ruling them, and understanding that when a card comes upside down, it has a completely different meaning. And also cutting off the ego, the head, and really seeing that even this card has something that can overflow and go overboard, which then makes you go into the Eight of Cups, which is always then Saturn in Pisces, that searching for love, that journey never ends, and you will continuously go on that journey. Look deep within and see what's happening down there, and release your ego, release the mind, and become now yourself that which wants to fly and go and see from above, that you can heal, right? That in the moon in Cancer, some big message is speaking to you. That this healing is necessary so that you become the cup yourself. It's not that the cup is handed to you anymore. You become the cup yourself. You become the love yourself. And then you have the actualization. You have a realization that you are the love within the two swans. You are the love, and not anymore feeling like this, feeling like something is making you feel like unworthy, ungood. And then of course here, looking deep within and crying sometimes to when you realize that you are this empowered being, and seeing now from a completely different perspective this world, and knowing that the eye sees what's happening with you being in your own cup, you being in the moon when the moon is in your sign. Wow, what a reading. I mean, sometimes I'm like, wow, what's going on? So I hope I see you in the next reading, because that's when the earth is turning in such a way that behind the sun we see the constellation Cancer. And yes, you are here Cancer through moon in Cancer, and here again moon in Cancer. Nevertheless, you are, no, this is Mercury in Cancer, right? The Three of Cups. Nevertheless, it's like here you're going to get your new moon. Here you can place a seed, plant an idea that can bring you forward. And until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.